Hey guys, it's Monday the 4th, and this is our last week of economics. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Let's do our economics video for today. I'm going to try to move pretty quickly through this stuff this week, and really this shouldn't take long at all. So today you are doing page 215 when you're starting where it says environmentalism, and you're doing through page 218. Your homework is going to be page 226, and you're doing the odd numbers. So make sure you only do the odds on page 226. Your lesson today is revolving around the concept of globalism again, which I know we touched on in the last lesson. So globalism is the idea of governments and nations working together to accomplish similar goals, which there's nothing wrong with that idea, but when you talk about globalism, really what you're talking about is more than just working together. It's almost joining into like a conglomerate between nations, multilateral treaties between nations, which get really tricky because what might be good for one nation might not be so great for another. And sometimes, you have some give and take with this stuff. And many people believe that the purpose of our government should be to benefit us. And yes, if we can work together on things that are mutually beneficial, that's great. But if something negatively affects the people, our people, then our government should not be working, against our own interests. Does that make sense? Hopefully so. So talking today, the first part here about environmentalism is talking about how globalism, they use environmentalism to push a globalist agenda. So many people say, if you're doing certain things to help preserve the environment by yourself, it's not near as effective as it would be if you were doing it as a global community. And that's definitely true. Obviously, the more people you have doing things that help the environment, then obviously it's going to make more of a difference. That's a given. But I want to read you what your book says here. It says, while some of the issues of environmentalism are legitimate ecological concerns, many have been fabricated or exaggerated. Using scare tactics to unite people behind their cause, environmental organizations have been slowly gaining power around the world. And this is true. And this isn't really up for much debate when it comes to the facts. Environmentalists for years, even decades, have been screaming about, the world's going to end in this year, or in 3 years, or in 5 years, or in 10 years. And every time you pass those benchmarks and the world is still spinning, it does not mean that, you should not care about your environment, should not care about, the world, nature, and all of those things. But, many times they push this stuff with fear to make it seem, urgent, that if it's do or die, either you do it now or you're going to die. And that's just not really the case. I want to read you another thing on page 216. Your book says, most conservatives recognize the need for conserving and using the Earth's resources wisely. However, many of the crises on the environmentalist agenda are simply not supported by scientific evidence. And so that's a great point. No one is arguing that we should use the resources of the planet unwisely. Of course we should use them wisely. But there's definitely a point where this is taken to the extreme to push other agendas, whether it be a globalist agenda, or an animal rights agenda, or whatever. All of these things that, are up for debate, they try to push it through a environmentalism agenda. So I just want to encourage you to read up on the issues. You can make up your own opinions on global warming and all of that stuff yourself. Look up the data, look up what it says, and come to your own conclusions on that stuff. So I encourage you to read these pages 215 to 218, excuse me, and do 226, the odd numbers today, and I will see you guys for your lesson tomorrow. Have a great day.